out instead.
It's recording.
It's recording. Very good. Thank you. So welcome everybody to Ignite. As I mentioned when I was first chit-chatting, I have done this class, is my favorite Ignite class to do, but I've never done it on a Zoom. So I'm not really sure as to, you know, how it will differ, because so much of the class is really interactive, you know, and we break up in pairs and when we form friendships and with Ignite. So it'll be a little bit different, but as we know, we're all sort of dealing with a little bit different. So as we move forward, it is interactive. And so I'm going to ask you to participate and to join in and to share ahas and so forth. So if you want to speak, just, you know, unmute yourself or just, you know, shout it out, if you will. If you would just prefer to put something into the chat, we can do that as well, of course. But it is interactive and it's really best if you participate. You know, Ignite is the Keller Williams agent training program. It's not necessarily the new agent training program. I have lots of agents who are joining from another organization and jump in, or who are just people who really enjoy a particular topic or a particular instructor that we have. So I also want to circle around to the fact that we have a guest or two with us today. These are non-Keller Williams agents who, quite frankly, someday I hope become Keller Williams agents, to be perfectly frank with you, but they are non-Keller Williams agents. I also have a group of agents who either just joined us and really haven't gotten their credentials going, or are literally signing on with us tomorrow and still also don't have their credentials with us. So the great news is that this first class is a lot less Keller Williams-esque focused and really mind share and sort of big picture. So it's a great class to sort of start with, and there's really no issue if you're not with Keller Williams. So can I unmute everybody? I think that reverberation you're hearing, Barry, actually is me, because I don't know how to. Can everybody mute themselves? Hold on a second. Let me mute everybody. And that way we'll see if it's me or anybody else. But all I hear, quite frankly, is me and my big voice. And I think everybody is. Again, if you're not muted, oh, it's better. Okay, good, good, good. Thank you, Barry. So now we're going to share the screen, which is always my very favorite moment of the event, to make sure that I know how to do this. So please bear with me for a moment. There we go. And we'll start with, great. There we go. So Ignite, skills to spark a great career. Let me also share with you that Keller Williams at the beginning of the year was in the process of developing or sort of reconfiguring Ignite into something new. And they're still working on that, but the pandemic sort of halted everything because they're all working from home as well. So this, who knows, may be the last Ignite that we have in this fashion for a while. But the goal of Ignite, the next 12 sessions, will be to really get you into production and to get you going in your career. That's the goal of Ignite. And I want to thank each and every one of you for being with us today and for dedicating this time to your career. This is Power Session 1. And again, as I mentioned, this is really more about mindset and other things, and a lot less Keller Williams-esque, if you will. I do, by the way, have an instructor guide, so that's why I am flipping pages. So let's discuss questions on page 7. Getting your head in the game. So I have your Ignite book in front of me, Welcome to Ignite. And there are a couple of questions on page 7. So let's take some time, if you haven't done it already, and this is, again, as I mentioned, is going to be interactive. Let's answer some of those questions there on page 7. Have you achieved your financial goals through your career so far? Why not? What is the one thing that makes one real estate agent more successful than another? Why don't all agents do that? And is your desire to succeed more powerful than your fear from doing the one thing that will make you successful? So we're going to literally stop for a moment and answer those questions. Since I really can't see anybody, please go ahead and do that. And we'll give it another minute. While I check my phone. Awesome. Okay, let's discuss. Have you achieved your financial goals through your career so far? Why not? Somebody please unmute yourself and share with the group.
Donna, it's Eleni. I'll go first. So for me, that would be a yes and no. I was on that track and unfortunately got furloughed, which is what brought me to sort of begin my real estate career with Keller Williams. So we were on that track, but we got derailed. But I think that all things happen for a reason. So happy to be here because of that.
You know, everybody's got a journey, and you know, sometimes that corporate track is not, because you can't control it yourself, right?
Correct.
Right. So sometimes you find yourself either, you know, just derailed, you know, and having to sort of reboot yourself, if you will. Thank you, Eleni, for sharing. Who else would like to add to that conversation? Have you achieved your financial goals through your career? Yes, yes. Why not? Okay.
To add to what Eleni said, this is Akelia. I would have to say I actually just left a more corporate environment as well. And in that recruiting role, I wasn't very passionate about what I was doing, but I did have a salary. There was really no room for growth. And I think with real estate, it is something that I'm passionate about, and it does give me the opportunity to really reap the rewards of my own work. So I think that will definitely help me to get on the path that I need to for my own financial success.
So would you say, to sort of summarize that, what you put into it is what you will get out of it?
Definitely.
Yeah, I agree with that statement. Okay, let's go to the next one. What is the one thing that makes one real estate agent more successful than others? Because I'll tell you, I mean, I've been doing this for 15 years, And I have thought to myself, with successful real estate agents, what is it that they have that others don't? Is it because they are, more, if they're, my own neuroses, they're younger than me, they're more attractive than me, they've got a nicer car than I do. Is that the reason? Or what are your thoughts? What makes one real estate agent more successful than the others?
Hey, this is Eric Burns. How are you?
Hey, Eric.
Hey, what I'm seeing is, a combination of things. Being persistent, being disciplined, and then having, utilizing multiple tools, not relying on just one, like Facebook, like one social media, one piece of content. Experimenting with a lot of different things as technology improves and as things change. But using a combination of those three things, I've seen agents be very successful.
Mm. So would you say, Eric, and I'm going to put words in your mouth, it really all comes down to lead generation? Would you agree with that statement?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you don't have any generation, if you don't have any lead gen, you're really kind of stuck in the mud. So yeah, that's definitely a big start. Yeah.
Yeah. I for those of you who know Bill Detremont, Bill, when I came over here 3.5 years ago, I didn't know Billy that well. And he was one of those guys that, quite honestly, and since he's not here, and since, there's only, 18 of us, he was one of those guys like, what is it about this guy that has made him so successful? Because really and truly, he seemed like a chucklehead to me, like a fun chucklehead, but a chucklehead, and then I got over here. And it was like a green light that went off, spending time with him on a day-to-day basis. He's a guy that lead generates every single day. There's not a day that goes by that I have been in his environment that he has not been on the phone calling his database. And so that's what I'm going to preach to you today, is that lead generation, this is a hard job. It's a job. And it's a job that is a lead generation job. And, the agents who do it well, regardless of, whatever it is that, their exterior is their lead generating, bottom line. Why is it that you think all agents don't lead generate?
I have something to say, Diana. I think that agents don't lead generate because it's uncomfortable.
First of all, it's Donna, but that's okay. I'll take Diana any day.
Sorry, you're.
I know. It's
Diana.
Diana. I know. Why do you think it's uncomfortable?
I think it's uncomfortable because in sales, I think you have to ask hard questions, and people don't like to ask hard questions. They kind of like to beat around the bush.
Okay. And what is it about the hard questions that makes them uncomfortable?
Asking people to buy from you or to work with you when there's a transaction involved. I think there's a bad connotation to it in some instances, and people, for some reason, I mean, they sway away from that.
Yeah. And does anybody else have anything to add to that? Why is it that agents don't lead generate?
I think lead generation can sometimes be costly, and sometimes some agents don't necessarily invest in themselves as they should.
Because?
Oftentimes because of fear, if it doesn't work, or fear they're just pouring their money into something that they won't see a return.
Yeah. Akela, that word fear, I think that really sort of, for me, sort of concentrates it. You know, if you never do it, then to me, it's the fear of rejection. And again, you know, my own neuroses, the fear of rejection. If I never do it, then I'm never being rejected. If I never ask, then nobody's never saying no. It's all of the, you know, what could be that never is. Akela, do you also think that there are so many mixed messages in the marketplace as far as lead generation sources as well?
Yeah, I do think that there are quite a few different options and just mixed messages going on as well in the market.
Yeah, so many shiny objects, what works, what doesn't work, who can you trust? You know, I think that also, you know, gets that message sort of muddied. Thank you very much for sharing. So last question, is your desire to succeed more powerful than your fear from doing the one thing that will make you successful? Anybody have an answer for that one? I'm hoping the answer is yes. If you didn't write yes, then everybody stop and write yes. The answer is yes. Yes, your desire to be successful needs to be more powerful than whatever your fear for me of rejection is. I'm going to go today to door knock a house that my niece would like to buy. And there is a part of me this morning that was just like already, I'm like in my mind, I need to get that monkey brain out of my mind, because there was already a part of me that was this morning was like, oh, they're going to say no. You know what? To hell with that. I've got to be brave and put that fear of rejection and shut that monkey brain down and just get on with it. What's the worst thing that could happen? They could say no. I'm pretty sure they're not going to hit me over the head and drag me off into the bushes or anything. So it'll be fine. Okay, so you already know what it's going to take. You're already powered by your conviction to succeed. So, you know, we are going to be awesome. So page 8, you're in business. You're a business owner. In case you didn't know this, you are in business. What business are you in? What is your business? Who's got an answer for me?
The people business.
The people business, yes.
The lead generating business.
The lead generating business, absolutely. If you put those two businesses, if you put those people in lead generation together, what are you getting? Sales. You're in a sales, you got a sales job. You know, and to those of you that I have met and interviewed, since my job really has always been about new talent and new agents, you know, that I told you if we met that that the way we see this, the way that Keller Williams sees this, is that this is a sales position, and that we want to have a servant's heart. But the sales position really is about getting people to use your personal service, because that's what we're selling. We're essentially selling you and your knowledge and your professionalism to the community. Because I'll tell you, you know, you'll never convince a seller to sell who doesn't really want to sell. And you sure as hell won't convince a buyer to buy who really doesn't want to buy that house. So you're in the personal services sales position, if you will. So of those, one is lead generation. So let me share a quick story with you. I was going to mega camp, my first mega camp, which is in Austin, Texas. And they had switched it around because Hurricane Harvey had just come through. And so we were doing, instead of drinking at a bar and enjoying really fabulous meals, we had hazmat suits on and we were doing relief work, and it was fascinating. It was awesome. But I was on a bus, being slightly nauseous, having a conversation with this team, husband and wife team from Alaska. And I was so surprised. I was new. Had only been with the company a couple of months. And they said something to me that was so impactful. They said, you know, we really have two businesses. And I thought they were going to say something like, oh, we do property management, or we own, you know, we own a lot of investment property. And they said, yeah, we have two businesses. The first business is lead generation. And the second business, which is real estate, doesn't open until the first business closes. And that is something that really struck me, to think of what we do and sort of those parallel tracks. Lead generation, real estate. You're going to lead generate, and then you're going to go show some property, bottom line. Anybody want to add anything to my long rant? Anybody? Bueller? No? Okay, so mindset and attitude matters. You may think that lead generation is all about like making phone calls and bothering people. It's not. You know, I mean, yeah, some people hang up on you. Some people will have their, you know, oh, she just talks to me about real estate, you know, but we really do try to come from contribution and make it seem, and not make it seem, but be, you know, more open about it, more of a servant, more of a, what was the phrase I heard the other day, and now it's slipping from my mind, a servantpreneur, rather like an entrepreneur with a servant sort of tacked on the front of it. And again, change your mindset to focus on being of service, because I think that will remove some of that trepidation that some of us feel. And here's how I sort of switch my little switch back in the day, if you will. I would think of the worst real estate professional I knew. And then I would imagine the person to whom I was making phone calls was going to get into a relationship with that horrible agent. And then I would think to myself, I need to make sure that I am firming up my relationship with that person so that they somehow don't end up getting into business, buying or listing with that really bad real estate agent. And that's how I sort of switch that on my little brain. You know, it's energy, it's enthusiasm, it's optimism, it's how can I help you? I always tried to come from a position of helping, knowing that I was at least better than that crappy real estate agent that I knew down the street. Anybody have anything they'd like to add to that conversation before we move on? Okay, so let's talk about one of the things I really love talking about. And if you spend any time in the Norwell Market Center, you will see that these are the, that's the artwork that we have up sort of to the left, if you will, in the common area space. These are the 6 personal perspectives, and they are sort of the bedrock, if you will, of Keller Williams. They include self-mastery, the 80-20 principle, E to P, being learning-based, no limited, my page has gone there, and accountability. And so this is something that we talk about a lot, and that I sort of occasionally will do a, not to get a little, loopy, but like, if I'm going to pick a 6 personal perspective to sort of meditate on for that day, like which one is mine going to be? Because I find them really, really impactful. What is the difference? What differentiates those who achieve at the highest level from those who don't seem to accomplish much? Is going to be those sort of 6 personal perspectives. So let's do a deep dive. And again, the 6 personal perspectives will be brought up over and over and over again in your Keller Williams career. In fact, there's an entire separate sort of training class about the 6 personal perspectives. So if this is something that's sort of like, floats your boat a little bit, maybe we can bring in one of those, we can do a 6 personal perspective class a little bit down the road. So let me know if the 6 personal perspectives is something that sort of, if it resonates with you at all, okay? So let's talk about the first one. Actually, I don't know why we're doing that one yet. Hold on, please. So let's talk about the first one. And the first one is self-mastery. So self-mastery is the possession of great knowledge, skills, and habits that make you the master of you. And I'll say that I think that Keller Williams is the most learning-based organization that I have ever been affiliated with. And I hope you agree with that statement that I just made. And I think that comes down to that sort of self-mastery. When you commit to self-mastery, you know your goals, you know your strengths and weaknesses, and you know how to work with both your strengths and weaknesses to seek and master the necessary knowledge, skills, and habits to reach your goals. So throughout Ignite, you will be acquiring the skills and developing the habits to be successful and to moving you toward self-mastery. You will all be the master of your domain by the time you are done. Thank you, Steve, for smiling. So this is what's different in a live classroom setting. Normally, I had people, this is what it's going to be like, by the way, to do sports with no audience. Because normally I know when people are going to laugh, and I can just in my brain insert the laugh track. It's going to be weird.
Hey, Donna.
Yeah.
Should you be advancing your slides?
No. Because
Okay.
then it's 14 to 17. So I checked. No.
Okay.
But I think we're just going to sit here for a little bit
Okay.
and talk about the 6 personal perspectives. Well,
Well,
thank you.
Never mind.
So who has taken, who has something to say about self-mastery? Who has taken something or done something that they think would sort of fall within that self-mastery of, knowing your strengths, knowing your goals, embracing that? Who has something they'd like to share? So the other day I had a conversation with Mary Barton. And Mary, who's from the Braintree Market Center, was took a video class on, she's having a good pandemic. She was essentially, learning how to cook Thai cuisine and taking a class to improve her business. I have some agents who were doing the, what was that one? The ePro, and some of the other free classes that NAR was offering. That is self-mastery. That is embracing another skill set. That is learning something else to move your business forward, whether it's a mother language, American Sign Language, another skill set, whatever it is that you think it is going to be. So anybody else have anything they might like to share about self-mastery before we move on to the 80-20 principle? And I get to talk about my Italian heritage for a moment. Okay. So hold on a second. I see some folks who have joined us that I just want to make sure I have all their names here with me so I can account for you. So the 80-20 principle is also known as the Pareto principle. There's my Italian heritage popping up. Is anybody familiar with the Pareto principle? Awesome. So the Pareto, I'm not sure of his first name. I'll call him Mr. Pareto. Back in the 1600s, noticed that 20% of his grapevines gave him 80% of his grapes. And through industry, through the history of industry, that 80-20 principle, that Pareto principle has held true. That 20% of your orchard, 20% of your manufacturing, 20% of your activities are going to give you 80% of your output, if you will. So that's the 80-20 principle. It's focusing on the 20% that's going to give you 80% of your results. Do not focus on the 80% that's going to give you the 20% of your results. Now, listen, those 80%, they might be much more fun, but they're not going to give you the results you need. So again, the idea that 20% of your actions lead to 80% of your results may be one of the most powerful principles you can apply to your life. It's about getting the most from your time and effort. It's about maximizing your results. It's about having focus. It's about doing what must be done. My husband, just a funny aside, and if you laugh, I'll appreciate it. The Frano family, of which I'm married into, has a coat of arms. And it's what it says is that we do what must be done. And of course, I used to always joke, but we don't do one bit more than that. But we do what must be done is a pretty good way to live, because it really does embrace doing the 20% that needs to be done to get the 80% of the results that you need. So here's what I want to reinforce. In Ignite, we identify the 20% for you, your money-making activities. Who has an idea what those money-making activities may be? Somebody unmute yourself and tell me what you think those are going to be.
Phone calls.
Phone calls. Your 20% that will reap you your 80% results is lead generation. And then after that, the other part might be lead conversion. It's not necessarily, you know, I'm trying to think of something we all love doing. Oh, making a beauty sheet. No, that's fun. You can do that after you do your 20%. So it is lead generation, pure and simple. So high achievers are always looking for the purposeful way to do this, and by embracing breaking out of their sort of natural behavior. We all have our comfort space, our natural behavior. Is anybody here who has never done a DISC, D-I-S-C? And if so, Barry's never done a DISC, never. Anybody else never done it? I can't see you all. If you haven't done a DISC, if you're new with us or you don't, you are a non-KW agent. A DISC is a, it's a personality test that does talk about the sort of our natural behavior. I'm a high I, and again, that I like talking. That might come as a surprise to some of you. Thank you, Steve. But my great fear in that is the fear of rejection. Usually every DISC, every person, every DISC has a sort of their negative, and for the high I's, it's that fear of rejection. So that's sort of always my my issue to overcome. And that's what I know, by the way, that, get back to self-mastery just for a little moment. That's what I got to overcome, my natural behavior. You can use your natural abilities to get so high, but in order to break through that ceiling, you're going to need to come out of your comfort zone. You just, your natural abilities will only take you so far. And then you've got to look at yourself and be willing to go a little bit further than that. You know, again, wouldn't you like to achieve even greater success and break through that ceiling? You want to live a larger life. I'm probably older than all of you, and I can tell you that life goes by really, really fast. And one of the things that I want at the end of my life is a shell left. I want everything done that I wanted to do. I want every experience done. And I just want to be a shriveled husk so that when, you know, when my time is over, I would have lived the largest, boldest life I possibly can. And I would imagine that that's what everybody wants, is to live that large, large life. So Ignite is not only designed to help you start your business, but it's also designed to help you grow your business. So if you've already been with us and been, you know, if you're coming from another organization, this is really designed to help you sort of get into that sort of Keller Williams mindset and propel your business forward, because that is the commitment we are making to you, to help you propel your business forward. Ignite will help you move from entrepreneurial to purposeful. Oh, that's what we're discussing. Sorry. E to P. We're discussing number three, E to P, moving from entrepreneurial to purposeful. When I was in business school, the term entrepreneur was just, everybody wanted to be an entrepreneur. When I came here, though, I embraced purposeful, because I wasn't purposeful before. I was, you know, I was doing what needed to be done, but the purposeful aspect of that, I was missing. You know, be purposeful. Think about what you're doing. Use your time wisely. And leave a husk of a shell when your time is up. And that will be a life well led. Does anybody have anything that might like to share regarding E to P, entrepreneurial to purposeful? Anyone at all before we move on? Awesome. So step 4, being learning based. And being learning based means, again, that you're looking to increase, you know, your skill set, if you will. It means acknowledging whatever issue perhaps that you don't have, whatever skill set that you're struggling with, acknowledging it. You know, we're not people who hide under a rock. We're people who fail forward as often as possible. And if you talk to, I mean, you're going to have some great instructors. One of them is Ben Parada, and you're going to love Ben, because he has failed so many times and picked himself back up again and repackaged himself into an even better person, that, you know, an even better business, that he's really, really insightful. So a learning-based individual is an individual who has made the decision to use effective learning as a foundation piece for their action plan to develop their life. What are you doing to develop your life? Training and education are a big part of moving forward to attain your goals and succeed at a high level. Learning-based individuals, and I know you all are because you're here with me today, commit to the process of acquiring skill-based habits. You know, the whole, I don't know it off the top of my head, but thoughts become actions, actions become habits, habits become character. I think I'm paraphrasing that. So, you know, developing those habits. So Ignite is just the start for you as a learning-based individual. This is just the beginning step. It's going to be a lot more. Keller Williams offers lots and lots of learning-based opportunities. My God, there are, first of all, you could lose yourself just within the learning pool of what Keller Williams offers. There's hours and hours and hours. That's not the best thing sometimes because you need to lead generate. But there is always something really, really interesting being offered by Keller Williams. And you should definitely, definitely, definitely find as much as you possibly can from that. Anybody have anything they might like to add to the Learning-Based Foundation? Who is who's doing something that they would like to say is learning-based? Anybody? Okay. Number 5, remove your limiting beliefs. I think this one's a really important one. We all have limiting beliefs. I can't say, you know, how does somebody end up thinking that they're going to be president of the United States? That person has no limiting beliefs. I think the vast majority of us have limiting beliefs. And yet we all have the potential of becoming the president of the United States or the CEO of a company or, you know, a change influencer, you know, and so, you know, let's remove those limiting beliefs. High achievers remove beliefs from their thinking that held them back. So I'm about to get up on a soapbox for a moment. There was a young girl on Facebook the other day who's a friend of a friend of a friend, and she was under the age of 30 asking for advice from somebody over the age of 30 as to, you know, as she begins her career, what is it that she should keep in mind? Like what life lessons as I, as a, you know, 58-year-old woman have learned in my multiple years in various businesses. And I said to her that the one thing that I thought that always sort of held back my sisters, if you will, and within the work environment, is that we were always waiting to really know what the next job would be. And some of my male colleagues would not do that. They would just jump in. Like, limiting beliefs for some people just don't exist. They're just going to jump in and do it. And that's the advice I gave her, is just no limiting beliefs. Remove beliefs. Remove limiting. Don't remove beliefs. We all need beliefs. But remove limiting beliefs. In order to successfully develop at a higher level, you will need to clear your mind of limiting beliefs. We used to call them drunk monkey thoughts. And we used to, you know, you want to brush that drunk monkey off your shoulder. For example, are any of these thoughts in your head? I have to be an expert and know everything before I can begin my business. I'm not valid yet. And I think that one sort of harkens back to the conversation I had with this young girl as to, you're not going to know your next rung up the corporate ladder. You may not know what that is, but you're going to know enough to take that job. If you wait to know how to be I'm trying to think of an assistant vice president of commercial lending, because you're currently a processor in commercial lending, you're never going to do it. Just do it. So we are not experts. Here's what we are. Does anybody know? I mean, you know, there's a lot of different avenues in our industry and real estate. And, you know, sometimes we get stuck in the getting ready to get ready trap. We're not experts, we're professionals. Can somebody share with me the difference? I'm not filling this one in. I'll just wait in silence.
Being professional, kind of knowing when you don't know, and you know, admitting it, and wanting to learn. Whereas an expert kind of really has that full grasp. The professional is continuing to learn and accept what they don't know.
Yep. Is that Kim?
It was Eric Burns.
Eric, thank you. Eric, you're absolutely right. It is knowing what you don't know, going to find that out, and being honest. You know, you're never going to, I mean, we're not structural engineers. We're not tax advisors. We're not closing attorneys. We're not zoning. We're not home inspectors, you know, and sometimes, and we're not experts at that. We're professionals who help people find houses and sell houses. We're marketing and sales professionals. And so thinking that you're going to be an expert at everything and you're afraid, because here's what it comes down to. I'm afraid I won't know the answer. I'm afraid my seller will ask me a question and I won't know the answer. And here's what you need to just like embrace. You know, Sam and Susie, I don't know that answer, but I'm going to find out for you and get back to you. There you go. We're professionals. We're not experts. I don't think I can achieve a profit goal that will fund my life this year. Because I'm in the business will come to me naturally. I don't need to devote 3 hours each day to lead generation. I was guilty of that one. I was the president of the PTO. I was the board of this. Everybody knew me, you know, but you still got to lead generate. You still got to ask for the business. So let's take a couple of minutes to work on this activity. Turning limiting beliefs into unlimiting beliefs. Again, how would you redirect these negative thoughts into positive ones, into unlimiting beliefs that will fuel your success? Let's take a couple of minutes and fill that out. And I'll be right here just checking an email.
Good morning. Yeah.
Hello? Rose, is that you?
Hi, Rose. Yes. I'm unable to connect here, so.
I cannot hear you. You are muffled.
Okay. I'm having a problem with my internet. So I may just, I'll touch you.
So Rose, do you want to text me? And maybe that would, if you add whatever you'd like to say to the chat, I'll be happy to respond to it.
Sure. Are you doing that?
You have on the learning effects and info for client, you're having problem with your internet connection, right? On the go learning of facts and info for clients. So is that okay? Oh, I hear you now. Okay. So is there anything I need to answer for you, Rose? I'm not sure.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay.
Okay. Although you're still muffled.
Yeah, no, I'm having a problem with my ear connection. Plus, I'm
sorry, Rose. I honestly did not get any of that. You are absolutely
no.
If you have another spot in your house that you could move to, that might be better for the connection.
I was looking back and forth because I was able to put the part of the income. Okay.
Okay. I didn't get it, but I see that you're on the move. So maybe there's I know for me, if I'm
okay
in the kitchen, it's better.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
But that's my house, probably not yours. Okay. So let's talk about those answers, turning limiting beliefs into unlimiting beliefs. The first one, what's your answer? Who's got an answer of I have to be an expert and know everything before I can begin my business? I am not valid yet. Valid? Of course you're valid. Who's got an answer? Anybody want to chime in?
Donna, you guys will have to excuse if you hear a 2-year-old in the background, but
Not a
I'll chime
problem.
in. This is Eleni. I'll chime in on that one. So basically sort of saying it's okay to not be an expert before I begin my business. And none of that validates me. It's what I do moving forward to become knowledgeable in the field.
Absolutely. Right. Spot on, Eleni. Spot on. It's what you're doing moving forward. It's what you're learning. It's the investigative tools that you will use to find other true experts, structural engineers, those value partners that you will build relationships with, that you can refer your clients to. And I have to say the other thing too is real estate is always changing. There's always a new regulation. There's always a new law. There's always a new septic regulation. You're never going to be an expert in everything. And just remove that expectation. So let me share with you what the book shared with me. I need to be a professional, not an expert. Expertise will come from doing. I added the extra doings because I wanted to really be dramatic. This training will best prepare me for success in the real estate business, and taking productive action will cause my success. The next one, I don't think I can achieve a profit goal that will fund my life this year. Who has an answer for that?
Okay. I have a quick question.
Sure.
Just a second.
Oh, we're here.
准备走了跟你们两个过来刷牙，刷一下。
Brodsky, were you going to chime in?
Technology.
No? Okay. So
妈妈在
let
上
me,
课还是呢？
I'm not sure who that is.
Sorry, it's me. Sorry, I forgot.
Oh, not a problem. The when I set and track my
I'm sorry.
goal,
I'm getting a feedback here. Don't know where that's coming from.
well, it sounds like you're at the Boston Garden about to announce. So it's fine with me, Brodsky. I can hear you. What is your question or your comment?
Yeah, I was trying to find out to see if you're working with a worksheet.
So did you get the worksheet that was sent out and so forth?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So we should be on page 12, I think. Awesome. So when I set and track my goals and do those activities that I know need to be done, I will make my financial goal for the year. And that is the counter to I will never make my financial goal. You will do the activities and track the activities that you know are necessary to do that. And you will, listen, there's people making a lot of money in this business. You might as well make more money, a lot of money too. And lastly, because I'm in the business will come to me naturally. Who has an answer for that? Because that, again, was one of my surprises when I got into the business. I thought just because I was the PTO president or the Girl Scout leader, that people would automatically see me as a real estate professional. And that wasn't the case. I had to ask. I thought that would be that would just like, oh, she's in real estate. I like her. She did a heck of a craft at Girl Scouts the other day. I'll pick her, you know? And so that you've got to ask for it. To consistently have business, I will need to consistently go after it. I can't afford to miss 3 hours of lead generation. Missing 3 hours of lead generation will impact my pocket. I must lead generate. Any questions, concerns, thoughts, comments before we move on from the 6 personal perspectives? Awesome. I'm missing one. Accountability. This is the most important one. How could I forget this? Accountability is first and foremost an attitude. You've got to be open to accountability as an approach for your entire life. You know, find somebody who can be your accountability partner. Find somebody, they can be a fellow real estate professional, or when I got into the business, my daughter was just going into high school, and she was my accountability partner. And for me, the last person you want to disappoint is your daughter. And she was fierce about making sure that I did everything I said I would do. Plus, I got into the business specifically to send her to private school. So I needed to make bank in order to pay her school tuition. So she was my accountability partner. Go find your accountability partner. An accountable person says, everything in my life is a result of the choices and actions I commit. I own my life. We don't cloak ourselves in victim mentality. We look at ourselves and understand that we are responsible for the business and the person that we are. You can reach the highest level of business in life. You just gotta do it. Who has something that they'd like to add to this? You know, a person who's accountable in their 20% says, I own my life, and in certain areas, I want to continually improve my results. I will be purposeful and I will be learning based to continue improving. Ignite will provide you with the tools to develop and cultivate your accountability to be successful. Woo! It's crazy stuff for a Monday morning, isn't it? Okay, so we're turning now to page 14. And hopefully this moves. I am not getting my thing to move along. There we go. Sorry, hold please. So getting the most from Ignite. What does that, hold a second, there we go. So getting the most from this experience, I think, is important. Let me share with you a term we're going to use. We're going to use and call you cappers in training. Does anybody know what the term cappers in training really sort of refers to? What is a capper? Anyone? So a capper is, say again for me, Brian?
Okay, somebody who meets their, I'm reading it. They get to the point where they don't have to pay some kind of commission because they've kind of earned that right.
Absolutely. So a capper is, you are absolutely spot on, Brian. A capper is somebody who has paid their cap from their company dollar to the market center. And they, after paying that cap, keep 100% of their commission. They are somebody who has attained success, if you will. They are lauded, celebrated, recognized, and put on a pedestal by the Market Center. Everybody wants to be a capper. And so we're going to call you for the next 12 sessions, Cappers in Training, because our commitment to you is to develop you into the capper that you want to be. So you are a capper in training. So the getting the most out of Ignite is, hold on a second, please. Nope. Getting the most out of Ignite. A couple of things. Does everybody have this, by the way, in their book? I want to make sure I'm following along with the book. Does everybody have this? It's essentially the getting the most out of this experience. And it says the prisoner, the vacationer, the explorer on page 14. Everybody have that? No?
Yes.
Yes.
I have.
Good. Thank you for saying yes. I just want to make sure that I'm seeing what you're saying too. Because there has
Donna, can I ask you a question? I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
I only see the first screen that says Ignite. Am I doing something wrong?
So you should be watching me.
I am. Okay, so the
Yeah.
screen's not changing.
It did change. Do you not see getting the most from Ignite at the bottom, pages 14 and 17?
I see that I have that up sideways that I downloaded myself, but I don't see it on your screen. I was just.
Is at who?
Just the first page.
So you don't see, hold on a second. So right now, do you see the 6 personal perspectives?
No,
No.
just page 1.
I wonder, hold please. Let's try take 2. Well, thank you for, okay. What do you
Yes.
see?
Look at that.
Now I see it.
Oh, like, why aren't these people participate? Okay. Whoever that was, thank you. To all
Teresa.
of you, thank you. That's Bronsky what you meant, right?
That was my previous question.
That was your point. Now I get it. Okay. What is he talking about? Whew. Okay. So Ben, we're in the middle of Ignite here. Everybody say hello to Ben. He'll be your instructor.
Nice to see you guys.
Hello.
Busy out there.
Busy. Go back to work, Ben.
Busy out
Lead
there.
generate. Lead generate. Ben Parado, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. Okay. So the next page should be, hold a second. See, I'm having some problems. Okay, hold a second. What if I do this? There we go. So do you now see getting the most from Ignite?
Yes.
All right. Okay, good. So let's talk about getting the most out of this experience. If you're familiar with some of the bold laws, or if you've been hanging around with us for a while, you know that oftentimes we use an expression, how you behave here is how you behave out there. So play all in. Get as much from this as you possibly can. We've lined up some of the best and brightest minds, not mentioning Ben Parada, to be with you during this experience. So you might as well really, really have a really, really great experience. One of the things we're going to do next, I believe, is out of your book. It says at the top, it should be page 14 in your workbook that says getting the most out of this experience. Do you have that on page 14?
Yes.
Awesome. Good. Please take some time right now and review the table and choose the type of student you want to be. So we're going to just take some time and do that. Awesome. Okay, everybody coming, everybody good? Just about finished? So let's talk about what type of, you know, if I used to go to all these, back in my human resources days, I used to go to all these great seminars in downtown Boston and have fun. And, you know, and the attitude of most of us was like, listen, we're getting out of the office for the day. We're going to have some fun. We won't pay attention. There were no cell phones to look at the time. But it was more about whatever that hotel was than anything else. So it's along those same lines. Do you want to be a prisoner? So the prisoner doesn't want to be, you don't want to be there. You have to be there because you've got CE credits to finish for the state, or you've been sent to realtor jail and you need to do remedial rental class or something like that. You don't engage, you spend time on class looking at your phone, you know, you're spending, you know, you excuse yourself to the ladies' room and then you spend your time there. And you're just not, you're like, you're holding on to your limiting beliefs, right? And listen, not every instructor is going, anything is going to be perfect. So, you know, bear with us, if you will. Plus, we're doing this on Zoom, so it loses a little bit of that vitality that I think an in-person class has. Or do you want to be the vacationer? Do you remember vacations? We used to go places on big shiny things that looked like birds. Those were good days. A day in training is better than a day on the job. That was our philosophy. You know, you spend as much time chatting as listening. You're there to have fun. I wonder what they're having for lunch. You return late from break. You're not purposeful. You know, and again, thinking of my old human resources days, your boss asks you to write up a synopsis and you completely forget to do that. And lastly, the explorer, right? This is the best one. You're excited and curious. You're looking forward to new knowledge, skills, tools. You're engaging. You're listening attentively, you ask meaningful questions, you arrive on time, you adopt a posture of acceptance. You're not being confrontational with the instructor. It's good, it's all good. You're respecting the instructor, you're taking notes. So, who picked what? Share with me what you picked. Unmute yourself and tell me what you picked. Who's on vacation? Who's a prisoner? Who's an explorer?
The explorer.
Exactly. Whoever said that, you are correct. Who else is an explorer? Be an explorer. Yes, be an explorer. The answer is be. Now that we figured out the PowerPoint, be an explorer. Be an explorer. Good. So we're all committed to being open and positive during this Ignite experience. And everybody's going to have a great attitude, and you're going to come prepared, and you're going to get as much as you possibly can, and you're going to play full on. Play full on. So a couple of things are going to make this a great experience for you. Several things are going to make this course a huge victory for you. First of all, an action reveal. So you're going to have a mission, homework, if you will, that will then be a sort of a report back. Expectations for each power session. So this is a power session. So you will have, the Ignite faculty will have expectations of you. You should have expectations of us. You should expect that we show up ready to rock and roll, ready to engage with you, optimistic, helpful. And lastly, ground rules for everyone to follow and respect. Of course, those ground rules are a little less important than they are during a Zoom experience, but still ground rules. Do your mission statement, engage with the class, show up on time, those type of ground rules. So an action reveal, again, is a mission to complete before the class. And likewise, every Ignite Power session will have a mission that you complete before the next class. It's essential that you complete all the steps in the mission so that you will be set up for success. So your Ignite faculty should ask you about that. We're going to hold you accountable to that. We're going to remind you that there is a mission for every class and that they are to be completed during their mission days. Now, I know that we're not doing this, and I don't think we're doing Friday. I think this is a Monday, Wednesday, Thursday class because, and if I remember correctly, Ben Parada was not available on Friday. It could be because he's got a closing. I'm not really sure. But I believe this class is going to be Wednesday, Thursday, but I'll double check on that. So you will have a mission for Wednesday. I'm not really sure about Thursday though, because there's a gap. So I'll have to get back to you about that. So now some of you don't have your credentials, you couldn't log on, you know, and maybe you were unaware of this, and we'll certainly give a pass on this one. But what were your ahas with your mission, with your homework essentially? I know Diana sent it out. Anybody do it? Anybody?
I was looking for the videos to watch and read on the website, and there were none of them were there.
Oh my goodness. Okay, Christian, let me look into that. Okay, anybody else have that same problem?
No, I clicked on the symbols, and that brought me to the videos.
And that brought you to the videos?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Let's move on to page 16. So let's talk about expectations for this power session. And again, you are cappers in training. So as a student of Ignite, you are expected to complete the following, what we're going to get into. The big why, one of my favorite topics. We're going to set your monetary goal, which means we're going to do, brace for it, math. I know, I should have told you there'd be math. You're going to be accountable to your big why and to your monetary goal. And we are going to use influencing sales language for 3 business calls today. We will have a break and we will have probably another break. And during one of those breaks, I'm going to ask you to make 3 business calls, okay? So in order to maximize your learning, your Ignite faculty is committed to devoting the majority of time on activities in class. They're going to be focused. They're going to be ready. They're going to ensure that you, as a capper in training, complete your pre-class mission. They're going to ask about your daily 10-4, and they're going to make sure that you're tracking it. Now, speaking of things that I couldn't get to work, I could not get my daily tracker to work. I don't know why. So I'm going to ask that you just track your activities on a GASP piece of sheet or a notebook or something of that nature, 3x5 cards, whatever, but track your activities, okay? During the phone call activity, I'm either going to encourage you or make some phone calls myself. I am going to also ask questions that generate reflection and thought, and I'm always going to ask for ahas, as should all faculty. And I am going to have the in-class videos already queued up, which I do. You're so proud of me. I do already. They're ready to go. You're going to love it. Ignite has been designed with your success in mind, which means there's a lot of doing. This should not be a lecture, and I'm sorry I'm so wordy. There's a part of me that can't help that. But most of this is going to be doing, and it's much more doing when you're in a classroom setting, unfortunately. And if there's something that a faculty member isn't rising to that level of your expectation, let somebody know, let somebody know. Your time is just as valuable as everybody else. This is your new job. For some of you, it's your transitional to Keller Williams, but this is your business and you need to go to work on this business every day. I love this phrasing. Somebody once said this to me. Every day, real estate professionals wake up unemployed and they need to go find more business. So that's the reality of the job. Every day, you wake up unemployed and you got to go find some more business. Okay. Let us go through some ground rules through Ignite, okay? You're going to arrive to class on time and return promptly from breaks. You're going to be fully present. You're going to have laptops, tablets, and phones to vibrate or off. You're going to participate in here, because how you participate in here is how you participate everywhere. You're going to respect all of us. You're going to respect the different learning styles and opinions of others. We're going to get along. We're going to help each other learn, because none of us is as smart as all of us working together, the collective we, if you will. Consider everything we discuss confidential. Now, this is being recorded, which is new, but obviously we're not going to get into anti-compliance, Sherman Act, trust law stuff. So I can't imagine that whatever we say here will get dragged into a court of law. I'm going to ask you to implement at least one thing you learn, please. And lastly, and most importantly, I want you to have fun, because fun is important. And I think what we're going to do at this point, I see it's 10:50. We are going to take a break. Zoom continues, of course, but I'm going to take a 5-minute break. First of all, my throat's going, so I need a beverage. So it is 10:50. We're going to be back in the classroom at 10:55. Okay? Another minute. It's 10:54. We'll be back together at 1 more minute. All righty, it's 10:55 and we are back on page 18. Let me see if I can get that. Oh, there we go. Okie doke. I'm hoping you're all with me and I'm just not talking out into a big void. So our next page, if you will, page 18, make it happen, 4 skills. I do see people, everybody hear me? Anybody want to just chime in that they see me? I feel like I'm in a void. Thank you very much.
Good to see you.
Okay, appreciate that. Make it happen. Who said no?
No, I said good to go.
Good to go. Thank you, Melissa.
Hi.
Hello. So make it happen. So 4 skills. So on page 18. So first question, and again, I assume that I'm looking at what you're looking on my page. What is your job? What is your job? Anybody have anything that'd like to tell me what their job is? Home decorating, landscape design, trash removal. I've heard a lot of reasons why people like to get into this business. I really love HGTV, and I really think I'm like Joanna and Chip. What is your answer? What is your job? Somebody tell me.
Sales and lead generation.
Yes, Deb. Ding, ding, gold star. Sales and lead generation. So somebody once told me that the job is essentially these 5 tasks. It's lead generation, lead follow-up, go on appointments, negotiate contracts, and scripts and dialogue practice. If we were writing a job description for what we do, those are the 5 things we do. We're not, you know, home decorating experts. I mean, some of us have a flair for that. I don't, but some do. But it's lead gen, lead conversion, show property, negotiate contracts, and scripts and dialogue practice. Big. Who is your consumer?
Everyone.
Everyone, absolutely. Everyone and or no one if you don't lead generate. So everyone and no one, both at the same time. The great part about real estate is that everybody needs a roof over their head. I mean, everybody needs a roof over their head, whether or not they're buying that roof or renting that roof, or investing in that roof. Everybody needs a roof over their head. So that is correct. What is your product? Anybody? Bueller?
My knowledge.
Maybe
No.
a happy customer moved into their dream home.
Happy customer moved. So who said knowledge?
Melissa.
Melissa, yeah, knowledge. It's knowledge. It is the knowledge. You're like an attorney, if you will, or a CPA. It is the knowledge that you bring to the transaction. It is your knowledge of neighborhoods. It's your knowledge of various metrics, sale to list price variance, the market stats within that community, you know, your list of great vendors. That is the value that you bring. It is your knowledge that you are selling. Okay, it's your knowledge. It's your ability also to deliver a stellar experience. You know, we want to, and I'm going to sneeze in a moment, so forgive me. Oh. Excuse me. My apologies. I have seasonal allergies. Thank you. It is your ability to deliver a stellar experience, a stellar client experience to your client. We are not a car salesperson. We are not a clothing salesperson. We are a fiduciary. And it means legally, we're a fiduciary. And so it means, at least in the sales aspect, not in a rental, but in the sales aspect, that we always have to do the right thing. That's a given. But we also want to go one step further and provide that great client experience that our clients have come to expect from a Keller Williams agent. What that will lead to is referrals. And what that will lead to is more referrals. And before you know it, you don't have to talk to strangers. You're just getting referral business. You know, the first 3 years are going to be miserable if you've never done this before because you're building your business. But after that, you really do the work and you will build a referral business and people will send you referrals. That is the goal. So let's talk about 4 new skills that you're going to gain today to help build a strong customer base and having success in real estate sales. Skill 1, know your big why and your monetary goal. I don't think you can negate how important that big why is. What is it that's going to fuel you to get up every day and face that tiger that is lead generation? Number 2, commitment to daily lead generation. Number 3, using influencing sales language. And I'll tell you what that is. That's scripts and dialogues. Scripts and dialogues is influencing sales language. And number 4, being accountable to that big why and to that monetary goal. So let's get started. So skill number 1, page 19, is your big why. Here is the first in-depth exercise we're going to do, which is knowing your big why. What drives you is not only your mindset and your attitude, but what you're passionate about. What stirs your soul? Why are you in this business? Why are you in this business? What do you hope to achieve for yourself and for your family? So, you know, let's take some time right now and write down, the next page, and write down what is your big why. Start writing. I'll be over here. We'll make it 10 minutes. I know you're all highly intelligent. 10 minutes. And just another minute or two. Awesome. So let's talk about the big why. Top agents can articulate their big why. They all can. And you need to be able to do so as well. A big why is what keeps them going when they get tired, bored, disappointed. It fuels them. It's the spark that ignites their everyday. I don't know who knows Bill Detremont. I'm sure some of you do, especially if you've been in the business. Bill does the best big why class and travels sort of the New England region presenting it. We do it occasionally. I don't know, 3 times a year maybe. If you have the opportunity to attend one of Billy's big why classes, attend, because he is just a great instructor on this topic, and it is very, very important. So your big why might be to have your financial success tied directly to your efforts instead of a crazy boss, and that was mine. To build your own business, to achieve a bigger life through business. I was working for what at the time was the largest employer south of Boston. I loved working for them when they were family owned in particular. And then, you know, they put a sort of a cap on how much you could earn. And then I ended up with like a crazy boss, and that was just the end of it. You know, if I was going to succeed, I was going to succeed on my own. And if I was going to fail, it was because I had failed, not because I did not do whatever it is she didn't like about me that particular day. I'm sure some of you also know Corey Morris, who is just one of the greatest people in the world. But when Corey was doing a new agent mixer with us a couple of weeks back, he talked about how he was working for somebody whose name I don't remember. And all of a sudden, they had changed the compensation structure on him. You know, he had sold some big package to some big company. And then all of a sudden, they realized that he would be making a lot of money. And they decided that they didn't like that. So instead, right out from under him, they just changed that commission structure. And so that is obviously not going to help you lead the big life that you want to lead. Share with me some of your big whys. Share with the group. if you would, some of your big whys. Who would like to start?
I'll start. I'd rather be in charge of myself than have somebody else in charge of me.
Now, what does that mean, though?
Like, I'd rather it be on me to be able to do what I want to do. You know, whether it's as much business or as little business as I want to do, rather than, you know, working for the man type of thing.
Okay. Now, it means that, you know, you're your own boss. Sometimes you and your other you have to have a conversation with yourself, right?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Thank you, Deb. Thank you for sharing. Who else has a big why that they would like to share?
This is Eric Burns. I was in the restaurant field years ago, and for most of my professional career, and then just had a large area, many restaurants, and you know, my physical, mental health was just deteriorating.
Yeah.
Financially, it was doing well, but it wasn't worth it, and that took a very long time to figure it out.
Yeah, yeah. You know, there's money, and then there's life, there's health, there's children, there's, you know, you know, the restaurant industry in particular, man, that's a tough business. That's a tough business. So, Eric, what is it about real estate that sort of has always appealed to you?
The multiple aspects of it. Like, I treat myself as like as a guide, as a teacher, and just generally like helping people, having you know, the years of service-oriented industry being in that. So that's my mindset. It's like genuinely wanting to help. So I get to do that, but I, like many others have said, there's not a cap or a ceiling with me. I could have worked 100+ hours a week, and you know, my pay was pretty much the same. In fact, broke it down, it wasn't worth it.
Yeah.
And all the time lost with the family, friends, kids, it was just, again, wasn't worth it. So
yeah.
I get to kind of wear different hats with this, and kind of control my destiny a lot more than before.
And you know what else is great about this job? There's a beginning, a middle, and an end with a client. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's, you know, when I was working for a company called WearGuard, which at the time, again, the largest employer south of Boston, you know, you had an account, and they weren't going anywhere. You know, they always needed shirts, pants, t-shirts, boots, whatever, gloves, hats. But there was, if you had a tough customer, you know, there was no end to it. There was always going to be another t-shirt order that was going to be screwed up. And in some ways, you know, you sell the house, they move to Florida. There you go. Bye, Bob and Betty. Miss ya. Have a great life. You know, and conversely, if you don't want to do business with people for whatever standard you have set, that they don't treat you with respect that you deserve, you know, you're building your pipeline, you're lead generating, so you don't have to deal with anybody you don't want to deal with. And that can be really refreshing. It gives you choice, where when you work for a corporate structure, you might not have that choice. You know what I mean? Who else would like to share one more about your big why?
For me, I would have to say my big why is having control, because similarly, I was in a very corporate structure. I've only been in HR recruiting. It's really all I've known. And throughout my career working for different companies, over the year, there have been several restructuring, reorganization, mergers, and in what I originally thought was kind of the most secure aspect of a business became very unsecure in almost every company that I've worked with. So for me, I think this is an opportunity to not just focus on what I'm passionate about, and love what I do on a day-to-day basis, but also be in control.
Yeah, control. That's I think for many of us, that's something that really resonates with us is control. Thank you for sharing. So on page 20, I believe you all have at the bottom where it says big future. Am I correct about that? I see Deb shaking her head. So please write down the date 12 months from now. So today's June 1st, 2020. So June 1st, 2021. Crazy. And I'm going to read this, and I'm going to ask everybody to do this exercise with me. Please shut your eyes and listen. And I'll use my best David Allen Boucher voice I possibly can. Okay? So 12 months from now, June 1st, 2021, your business is thriving and your life is everything you've ever dreamed of. Your customers rave about the experience and value you provide and think of you when they have a real estate need. Your family and friends are so proud of your success and are consistently referring business your way. You are helping others live their dream of owning a home because you are focused on helping them get what they desire. You are building the foundation and momentum for your real estate career and gaining relationships and experiences and the income you desire. You are the top agent in your market center or Rookie of the Year if you're new. You're poised to hire a part-time assistant to handle your 80% while you take care of the 20% that grows your business. You are on the path to, we all know what the mission statement is: build careers worth having, businesses worth owning, lives worth living, experiences worth giving, and legacies worth leaving. That's what your year is going to be. So what is the Rookie of the Year? So a market center, for those of you that are new, a market center will award an award at the end of the year to the Rookie of the Year. That newbie, if you will, who has built the biggest business that they possibly can. And I know that all of you have the ability to be in the running for being Rookie of the Year. And I am so, so excited about that. So we're going to flip to page 22 now. Is there anything anybody else would like to add to the Big Y conversation? I've heard a lot of, through the years, I have heard, if Billy were here, he would tell you his story of, wanting to be able to have his wife stay at home and raise the kids. I've heard, people who, Ben Kinney, to those of you who don't know who Ben Kinney is within the Keller Williams world, my gosh, here is a kid who is essentially homeless living on couches and was just never going to raise his family in that same environment. That Big Y story to me is really, really important. And here's my challenge to you. I wonder who likes a vision board. Anybody a big fan of vision boards? Put together a vision board for yourself. Put together a vision board and keep it where you can see it. Because I do really think that that is going to be a huge, huge motivator for you. I'm just flipping pages now because I don't want to be too far behind, and I know you all have, there's more ahead of us. The other thing I want to talk about, though, is that the big why doesn't need to be huge, and it can be small or it can be huge. You know, the big why can be about, you know, just buying a particular car you want, or it can be, you know, about funding a scholarship, or it can be about endowing some sort of, you know, building at some sort of, you know, educational institution. It can be whatever it is that you want it to be. It can be big, 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 and it can be little, 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 little. It is whatever it is for you. There is no right answer when it comes to the big why. Okay, we're going to move on. Let me ask you a question, though. I'm not moving on. Let me ask you a question. How do you think you would feel after achieving that big why? And I'm going to need some people to help me out here. You've achieved that big why. You paid off your mortgage, if that was it for you. You paid your daughter's tuition to that extremely expensive private high school she felt she needed to go to. You know, you're paying your mother's rent because she's not able to do that. You made a donation to endow a scholarship of some nature. How is that going to make you feel?
Accomplished.
Accomplished?
Elated.
Elated.
And driven.
Driven.
Self-satisfied.
Say again?
Self-satisfied.
Self-satisfied, absolutely. What is it about those feelings that are important? Why does being satisfied, self-satisfied, important, accomplished, why is that important to us?
It's good for your psyche. It makes you feel good about yourself.
Feel good about yourself? Absolutely.
It makes you want to continue.
Certainly does. Makes you want to continue. Makes you, you know, there's a certain, by the way, there's definitely a certain addictive quality to what we do. You know, you get one deal going and you're feeling good and it's like you won something through hard work, by the way, but you feel good about it. And, you know, it definitely fuels you forward. You know, getting that win, that other win, one more win, man, you just like, it's momentum. It's momentum. And so, you know, sometimes you need the momentum. Sometimes you need the momentum. Okay, moving on. Monetary goal. Oh my God, we're going to do math now. Okay, so see if I can make this work. There we go, monetary goal. So we're going to be on pages 23 through 26. And so first, so I just want to confirm, page 23, everybody has your monetary goal on page 23, right? So Gary Keller says, first you must have a goal. So we're going to set our goal. So what is your annual monetary goal? Now that you know your big why, what is it going to take to fund that life? Here, circle back for a second. What is the purpose of business? This is a Kellerism, so if you've been around us for a little bit, you might know this. What is the purpose of business? Okay, I'm going to give you the answer. The purpose of business is to fund your life. It's to fund your perfect life. It's not necessarily to, you know, I don't know, I'm trying to think of like collect awards or something. It's to fund your perfect life. So write your annual monetary goal, please. Now, again, remember to include taxes and expenses. So your monetary goal is going to include your taxes and expenses so that we can do math. And I'd like to apologize in advance for bringing math into the conversation, but math is the path, which is a phrase I heard recently and liked it. Math is the path. Okay, has everybody done that?
When you talk about the goal, are you looking at a monthly basis or yearly basis? I mean,
Annual, yearly basis.
okay,
Annual monetary goal.
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So we're gonna work that back so that everybody knows what it is they need to do. I'm gonna pick up the pace a little bit because we have an hour left and I've got like 32 pages left. So, so let's assume that if we look at the bottom, here is a commission example. GCI stands for gross commission income, okay? It's your income before taxes and expenses are removed. So, so again, GCI is net of the market center split, but before expenses and taxes. So now that you've written down your monetary goal, let's look at what it takes to achieve this amount by calculating the average commission on each house bought or sold. So we're going to just follow along, and I'll just make some comments as to what the average is for our markets. And everybody understands too that commission, or what I sometimes call a success fee, is negotiable. We're just using this as an example. So assuming that your average sales price is $200,000, your commission is 3%, the average net GCI is $6,000, okay? And again, for us, that is high, but our average price point, I mean, the 3% is high. Our average commission is lower, but the average sale price in this region is higher. So, it sort of all works out a little bit. Okay, so we're gonna do page 24. 24 is my favorite number. 24 is a worksheet. And so we're gonna do math, okay? So what's the average sales price in our town, city, community? And what's the average sales price in your own neighborhood? Who knows what the average sale price is in Plymouth County, or would like to take a guess? And we'll round.
So 400.
About 400, you're right. Whoever said that, you're right.
It's Rose.
Yeah, Rose, you are correct. $400,000 is the average sale price. So why don't we do this? Please write average sales price, 400,000. I'm writing too. And anybody have, now we're gonna just be, we're not gonna go with like halvesies or anything of that, quarters or anything of that nature. Who's got an idea as to the average, who's got an idea as to the average commission?
2%.
Say again?
2%.
2%. I would agree with you. Let's use 2%. Now it's actually like 2.3 to be exact. But who the heck wants to calculate 2.3? Because that's really confusing. So 400,000 times 2% is going to give you average commission of, anyone?
$8,000.
$8,000.
$8,000.
You are correct, $8,000. So that seems a little bit better than the $6,000 that the other person, whoever that person is, whose average sale price is $200,000. You got to sell a lot of houses then. So the average commission is going to be $8,000. So let's also factor in market center fees. So every market center can be different. Everybody knows that every office is independently owned and operated. And the market center cap is indexed to the average sale price in your grid, if you will. So every office has a grid. Essentially, they own that grid. And that is how that is calculated. So the average, so the market center cap, not the royalty, but just the cap, and Braintree is 21,000, and in Norwell is 24,000. The average, the average house for sale down in Norwell, Cohasset, Situate, Duxbury, et cetera, is more. I mean, it's more than up in the Braintree, Weymouth, Milton, area, et cetera, et cetera. So let's just use, again, the cap is 30%, the split again, 30%. So the total, again, if in this regard, it's 20% for the cap, 3% for royalty. The royalty is consistent across the board. It's going to be 23%. Again, in Norwell, it's 27, and Braintree, it's 24,000. So please put whatever mark, if you're just visiting, by the way, just enjoy our conversation about math. That's all. But if you are in Braintree, please put 21. If you're in Norwell, please put 24 down at the bottom. Okay, and then royalty is, which I jokingly call Gary's money, is 3,000. So that at the bottom is going to be your cap. Again, Braintree 24,000, Norwell 27,000. And again, once you pay that cap, you're keeping 100% of your commission, less errors and omissions insurance, of course, and whatever donations you make to KW Cares and all that stuff. Any questions about the cap or anything of that nature? Or what Boston Metro's cap may be at like 48,000. So there are very expensive caps in other parts of the state and other parts of the country because, downtown Newbury, where is he's not in Boylston? Boylston Street, obviously they do a lot of Back Bay and they do a lot of South End, and those are really expensive communities. So every cap can be different. Turn to the page. So how many is it going to take to get you to cap? Okay, how many transactions does it take to reach? So whatever it is, so let's assume, let's use, again, we're on page 25, and let's assume that your GCI, your net GCI goal is 100,000. Your market center cap is, and I'm going to work this back with you. So your market center cap is, let's assume, let's just go along with this one. It's 23,000. So your GCI, your total gross, not the net, but the gross is 123. And your average commission is 6,000. You take 6,000 divided into 123, and that's how that's how many houses that's how many properties you need to sell. Okay? So if your goal is to have 100,000, you'll want to figure out how many, again, houses you need to sell. But if you are basing, if you've decided that you want to sell only luxury homes, which take longer to sell, you may be able to do it in fewer transactions because your commission will be higher. So obviously, the higher the commission, the fewer the houses, but it takes that much more time to do that. Questions, thoughts, concerns? Why are we doing math? Everybody's saying. Okay, flipping to page 26. I am going to ask you to do this exercise. you know, if you don't know what it is, just add it, you know, I'll be happy to just chime up and I'll be happy to, again, let's assume $400,000 so 400,000 times 2 is $8,000 is your average commission. Please fill in the worksheet. Okay, and we're back. So here's the question. Where's that business coming from? Anyone? Bueller? Where's that business coming from?
Sphere of influence, phone calls, networking.
Or what we might commonly call
lead gen.
Thank you. Yes, lead gen. Lead gen is the basis of all of this conversation. Lead gen is where that business is going to come from. So what are your ahas from this exercise? Houses sell for more than I thought they would. What is your aha?
Hey, Donna, it's Elaine. Oh, sorry.
Nope, you're good.
No, for me, my aha is just sort of doing that math and seeing how many transactions it would take to get to where my goal is.
Yeah. Yep. You know, and then we will further break that down as we move along into what, you know, how many, you know, there will be a point where you will know, like your lead conversion, right? How many, when you go on a listing presentation, how many of those listing presentations convert to a listing? How many buyer presentations convert to a buyer? You know, there's an expression that the money is in the lead gen and the big money is in the lead conversion, which is essentially follow-up. Lead conversion is follow-up. So you'll know those numbers and you'll know how many people, how many appointments do you need in order to make that, so that you'll know where you are. So if you don't have an appointment for the following day, how are you going to get that appointment? Is what it comes down to. Okay. So page 27, let's see if we can move this along. You haven't done that one yet. Let's move lead generation. For every day you do not lead generate, 90 days later, you can expect no money. And you do not want this to happen. It takes 90 days on average for an activity to generate a closing. And so if you take the summer off, your pain isn't felt in the summer. Your pain is like July, August, you know, your pain is October, November, December. So you got to do it every day in order to be consistent. So page 27, commitment to daily lead generation. You know, I find this funny, if real estate was a factory, if you ran a factory, you would know how long it takes to make a widget. I don't even know if a widget's a real thing, by the way. I've been saying the word widget since college, but it would take step 1, step 2, step 3, it would take 8 hours to make a widget. So if you didn't do step 1 at the end of the day, you would have 0 widgets. So step 1 of your widget factory is lead generation, because step one of your real estate factory is lead generation. So it all comes down to lead generation. If we look at the bottom, you'll see that my little thing about what our job description is pretty specific. Lead generation, appointments, agreements, contracts, close. Again, I believe it's lead generation, lead conversion, go on appointments, negotiate contracts, and practice your scripts and dialogues. 5. For every day you don't lead generate, 90 days later, again, you can expect no compensation, no paycheck, no money. That's the way of it. Okay, discuss the following questions as a class. How long, on average, does it take to get a buyer or seller to sign a contract for a sale or listing? How long does it take to get somebody to sign a contract with you?
On average, maybe about a week.
Maybe. Okay.
I don't know.
Who else? So I know that the statistic is that it takes about 60 days. It takes about 60 days to get somebody to, or more, to sign a contract. Now, you go on the listing presentation for the listing, you know, you show up twice, I mean, sometimes you can get them to sign a contract, but sometimes they're wishy-washy. You know, buyers, on the other hand, you know, maybe you have an agreement that they don't sign anything, that they don't sign a buyer rep agreement, or you know, are working with them without a buyer rep agreement, and the contract is going to be the contract purchase, if you will. But on average, it's about 60 days before you're going to get somebody to sign a contract. And again, that's going to depend upon how rigorously you lead generate. You know, you could come out of the gate right away and get somebody to sign a listing contract tonight. I have seen a great story. I had a guy once at my other brokerage, first day, somebody walked in, he said, I don't know anybody and I want to sell my house. It was a beautiful story. And he sold the house like in a week. And he thought that this was the easiest job he had ever had until he didn't lead generate. He thought people were just going to come in off the street, and he didn't lead generate, and he's no longer in the business. How long does it take for a transaction to close and for you to get paid?
About 90 days.
90 days? Okay. So, you know, it's some way, you know, at the very best, you know, if it's a buyer, it's going to be much longer than that, especially in this market. This is really very much a sort of market-driven statistic. Buyers are obviously the inventory. The market is as good as it was last year. If you had buyers who thought that the perfect time to buy a house was a pandemic, because sellers would be freaking out, not in Massachusetts. Some other communities, some other states are having issues. In Massachusetts, we are buffered by our high-tech industries, our education industries, and so forth. And so the inventory remains incredibly low, and buyers, again, are facing multiple offer situations. So if you're working with buyers, it's going to take a while. If you're working with sellers, on the other hand, you'll list the house tomorrow. It'll go on MLS on Wednesday. You'll have open houses. All offers will be due on Sunday, and then your seller will be making a decision. And it will be 45 days. So if you're going to be a strong listing agent, and you should all want to be a strong listing agent, listings still dominate the market, then it's going to be 45 days. Okay? Let me ask you this question. How quickly do you want to get paid?
As
today.
Right away. You want to get you, and the way to that is to lead generate. Every day, build your database of contacts. That will get you paid faster. Okay, we're going to flip to page 29. See where I am, discuss the questions. So I don't have a page 29. So the lead generation funnel on your page 29 is essentially what it all looks like. It's a funnel. You need leads, lots and lots and lots and lots of leads. Because some of those leads are duds, or they turn out that they are incapable of buying a house at this time, or they've decided to stay put, or they're moving to Oklahoma, but that's okay because you can set them up with a referral partner. But you need a lot of leads, which will lead to appointments, agreements, contracts, and close. And each action will result in another outcome. So Ignite's focus is on building the leads. That's what the focus of this class is. It's about getting as many leads as you possibly can. You know, you should all be memorizing this. You ready? Here's the secret sauce, in case you didn't know this. Who do you know interested in buying real estate, selling real estate, or investing in real estate? That's it. You're going to say that 1,000 times a day. Hey, Bob, Betty, great to see you. Who do you know interested in buying real estate, selling real estate, or investing in real estate? Over and over and over again. Good. Let's turn to page 30. Calling every session. Every Ignite session, we're going to, together, make phone calls. We will help each other, support each other. We're going to leverage scripts. We've got some scripts we're going to talk about. We're going to build the relationship. Listen, right now, it's weird, right? We're in a pandemic. Many of us are, you know, both offices, by the way, are available and open for the first time since the beginning of March or somewhere in that ballpark. These are going to be less about, who do you know interested in buying, selling, or investing in real estate, and more like care calls. Bob and Betty, how are you? Oh my God, what a weird time. I just want to check in and make sure you're good. Yeah, we're fine. Yeah, no, I'm still, oh my God, the real estate market is super busy. They're going to ask you about your job. They do it all the time. So one of the most interesting things I learned years ago was something called Ford. Is anybody else familiar with the Ford methodology of conversing with people? Awesome. So and I taught my kids this because my kids are shy. They're not me. They're shy. And so it's family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. Ford. Ask how the family's doing. Ask how the job's doing, because you're going to ask that, they're going to ask it back. Ask how the job is going, and you know what? They're going to ask it back. And you get to reinforce yourself as a top real estate professional. Ask about recreation. How are you keeping busy? What are you doing for fun? What's on Netflix? And dreams. That's an easy one. What are you going to do when this is all over? What's the restaurant you miss? What's the vacation you want to go on? Super easy, okay? Because of our time constraints right now, and because we're doing this Zoom experience, we're not going to break. Normally we would be breaking, but we're not. But here's the promise I'm looking for from all of you, okay? When we're done at 12:30, and I have to be done at 12:30 because I have a 1 o'clock appointment someplace else, I want you to make 3 phone calls. Somebody you met at an open house, somebody who you grew up with, somebody from the old neighborhood, and forward them and make that care call and build that relationship, okay? I am legally obligated to remind you about the do not call list. We follow all federal guidelines when it comes to the do not call list. And we should be utilizing our database, not necessarily cold calling, complete strangers. Okay, that's so do not call. If you have any questions about that, let me know. But for legal purposes, this is your reminder that we follow the rules of the do not call list. Okay, we're going to move on now to page 31. And this is the daily 10-4. So here's the other secret sauce recipe. Here's what you're going to do. Because people always say, well, what do I do now? Go build that database. I want you to go and write everybody you know. If you haven't done this yet, then here is what I want you to do. This isn't even here. This is the ad. This is the special bonus feature. I want you to write a list of everybody you would invite to a party that I'm paying for, and there's an open bar, and we can all stand shoulder to shoulder. And I've invited Beyonce to sing and Donny Osmond, because you all know I got a Donny Osmond fascination. So if you haven't done that yet, please do that. With that said, here is your lead generation habit, what we call the daily 10-4. You're going to add 10 new contacts to your database. You're going to speak, so that's lead generation essentially, right? You're going to speak with 10 people in your database. That essentially is lead conversion. And you're going to write 10 notes, okay? Daily. Weekly, you're going to preview 4 homes. So why is it important that you preview homes? Anybody?
I'd say to know the inventory in your area.
Yes, absolutely. Knowing the inventory in your area. Absolutely. You know, it is your inventory. It is your product. If you were working at, I don't know, a hardware store, you would know the products on your shelf. These are the products on your shelf. Also, if you're new to the business, you need to know what the difference is between a Cape and a Colonial, a Ranch and a Split, a Contemporary and a, you know, a Queen Anne Victorian. These are things you need to know so that you can walk in and be knowledgeable about that. When you're setting up previews, now a preview could be open houses back when we, again, come together doing open houses. But also you can just call 10 listing agents within your community and ask if you could preview their homes. You do need to tell them that you're previewing and not bringing in a live buyer. And that, because that way they're going to, you know, chase you to find out what it is that your buyer thought of it. Also, they have sellers that need to move their dog and the kids, and, you know, and they might be less inclined to do that, or they may do it and just not vacuum. So don't be offended if nobody vacuums. But you do need to preview 10 homes a week, okay? You know, and I have to say that what I learned is that the more you do, the easier it becomes. It's like a muscle, right? The more you do it, the easier it becomes. So working on adding those contacts to your database, you know, asking for referrals and so forth, it just becomes a little bit easier. And so, you know, set those goals, make that commitment. You know, countless agents will attest that accomplishing that daily challenge really does help them feel good, and they're building their business. So that's important. So let's flip to page 32. How to complete, how to grow and manage your database. Add 10 people to your database with complete contact information. So the gold standard is name, address, email, physical address, right? If you can get all of it, awesome. If you can get just a little bit of it, not a problem. Here's where it's going to go. Where is it going to go? into what system will you put this? Anybody? What would Terry Pence say if she were here, to those of you who know Terry? Command. So if you're new or you're not with Keller Williams, Command is our database CRM. So that database is going to go, all that information is going to go into Command. So that's easy. The number two, prospect connect with 10 people in your database. Those are just people that you're going to set up, you've already set up, and you already put it in play that you would be talking to these 10 people on this day. And so if you look at Command, there will be a task list. Task list. And that name will come up, and it's simple. You just call them. It's simple. You just do what it says. It's simple. And then the other part is writing the 10 notes. So where are you going to get people for the database? Like that becomes a point of contention. You know what? Everybody's got this. You know what that is? That's your phone. You already got a database. It's right here. Those are the people you're going to call. Have a conversation with. Share with them that you're in real estate if they don't know this already. And ask them for referrals. Now, again, we're in a pandemic. So come from contribution. But introduce yourself. If you're new to real estate, share the good news with them that you've joined Keller Williams. The thank you notes always would trip me up because I wanted to be like Ernest Hemingway. I wanted to write the most beautiful thank you notes in the world. And there's lots and lots. If you are in the Keller Williams back end, there's like some ideas about, but in the beginning, it's easy. You know those 10 people you spoke with in your database? Send them a thank you note. Hey, Bob, thanks for speaking with me today. I'm so happy you and the kids are doing well. And me too. I really miss Scarlet Oak. Talk to you soon. Oh, I included my business card too. You know, it's super easy. 10 notes. Nobody gets a handwritten note anymore, so it's really special. And again, know your marketplace. No, you know, and that way, you know, when you're talking to Bob and Bob says, oh my God, you know, we really would love a Cape style house somewhere or a house on the Cape, pick one, you know, and you'll be knowledgeable about whatever those communities are. Questions, thoughts, concerns, so page 33 is going to be the tracking. Again, I couldn't get my KW tracker to work, so I don't know why, but grab it, it's easy to track. Notes, I mean, here's this is called a steno pad, to those of you who don't know what a steno pad is. My whole world, everything is in my steno pad. So if you want to use a different system, there's lots of systems, but I could not get that to work. I don't know why, and I'm going to try to take a deep dive into why I couldn't get that to work. But success needs tracking. If you have embraced accountability, you need to know what you're doing. So you need to use that tracker. So you need to use a tracker in some way, shape, or form. Questions, thoughts, concerns, any ahas, anything they want to talk about? Okay, moving on. Page 35, more than that. We are now going to watch a video. And if I did this correctly, it's ready. Oh, please. Where are you? There we. Does everybody see a guy who says how to use scripts. What are you seeing?
Nothing.
You. Just all of us.
I
Just
see you,
all of
Donna.
you. Well, that's good.
You probably I think you probably have to share your screen, Donna, to that video probably.
Thought I did. Let's try again. Take two.
Oh,
What do you?
there
we
you
good?
There we
go.
go.
Yay! It's the little things. Okay, please meet Mr. Jeff Glover. To those of you who maybe have been around, Jeff also publishes a magazine that's quite good, and he will send you that magazine if you reach out to him. But let us go to how to use scripts. Do you hear that?
No. No.
No?
Nope.
Okay, I am going to, why isn't this working? I'm going to just pass it on by at this point because I am not sure why that is not, because I hear it. You do not hear it? Steve, you don't hear it? Deb, you
No.
don't hear it? Okay. Elena, do you know why they don't hear it, since you seem to know more about Zoom than?
Yeah, I wonder actually if you muted yourself, if the video could be heard a little bit better.
Excellent idea.
No, that didn't do it. Trying to jog my memory from what I've done with videos with clients.
Donna, is the volume up on the video? Oh, I can't hear you. You're muted.
Yeah, it looked like
Yeah, it's all the way up. So, okay, well,
good
take two.
effort.
Good, thank you. Thank you, Steve. Good effort. Back to PowerPoint. Do you see my PowerPoint now?
No.
No. Hold, please. Do you see anything now?
Just the silhouette face.
Yeah, Zoom makes you reshare every time you leave your screen. It's not like the other ones where it'll sense your toggle. That's sort of one of the annoying things about it. There it is. Now we
Okay.
have it.
I wonder if this, hold a second. Maybe I can get back to the, hold on a second. Now that I'd like to give, Eleni, thank you for being the queen. Let me just, do you hear this now by any chance?
No.
No, okay.
No.
I thought maybe it was that. Okay. Well, it's fun to be together, isn't it? Hold on a second. Team accountability, putting it together. Oop. Sales language. Do you see where it says sales language?
No.
No?
Still the video screen.
What about now?
Sales language, very good.
Yay! Okay. So I want to talk about scripts and dialogues. And I have to say that, every industry has a script, whether or not you're working in a restaurant industry or you're selling shirts and t-shirts. I was trained that if somebody bought a pair of pants, they must need a belt. And if they bought a jacket, they must need a hat. So every single solitary industry has a language, has a script, if you will. The question is, are we using ours? It's going to help us to get from E to P. Now, here's what we have that we're so fortunate. Each market center has 2 top professionals who have been dedicated to doing scripts and role play practice. And Braintree, Lisa Axios is amazing about this. Absolutely, she's fabulous. You should absolutely join Lisa at every opportunity to be a script and dialogue partner. If you can't join with Lisa, then just, grab somebody in the house, grab somebody in the market center, grab your mother, grab your kid. Norwell has Dara DeRoche. She's outstanding and she loves doing it. So use a script partner when it comes to scripts and practice. I had I'm not sure who did Bold Pivot, but there was this woman named Molly DeMattos that was so good on a script. I was like blown away. And it's so seamless. Nobody wants you to sound like a robot, but it will help you ingrain that language that's necessary in what we do. So page 41, actually, let me go back. Nope. So some of the things, since we're first in the business of lead generation, what are we really saying about our job? Our job is, if you're on page 35, let me fill it in for you. Our job is talking to people about their real estate needs and the needs of people they know. That's it. Who do you know? Interested in buying real estate, selling real estate, or investing in real estate? Bada bing. And there's 2 ways of doing it. Entrepreneurial, we're just chatting everybody up, I mean, again, that ceiling your natural ability will hit a ceiling. You'll only bump into people that you cross paths with. You can stroll up and down CVS and Pembroke Center and eat all the ice cream you want at Dairy Twist. But, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to bump into the people you need to bump into. Being entrepreneurial means that you're blocking time and finding those people that you need to have a conversation with, okay? What are you willing to bet your livelihood on? A random cross path at the Stop and Shop, or being purposeful with the people and building the relationships with those people that you need to build those relationships with. It is being purposeful, just in case you didn't. Being purposeful. Okay. Page 36, scripts are cool. Let's pretend we're all Hollywood starlets, but scripts are cool. The challenge with learning scripts is that it requires us to change some of our beliefs, some of our actions, and most significantly, our words. We have to remember that growth comes from a challenge. Think E to P. If we have to change what we say and what we do in order to change the results that we get. So the purpose of scripts, a great script is 100% customer oriented and benefits the customer throughout the entire conversation. I mean, it's going to be purposeful, high-minded, and come from contribution. If you were a plumber, right, you wouldn't show up without your toolkit. Your scripts are essentially your toolkit. And it will make your life easier, quite frankly. And you're not going to be on autopilot, but it will make your life easier if you internalize these scripts, because you'll be able to turn to them when you have a challenge. So the benefits of scripts. Let's, what are the benefits of scripts? Again, knowing that you can use powerful language and learning scripts. The learning of the scripts is just, it's memorization. I don't need to, you know, it's just boring old memorization. Let's flip the page to 37. So again, we're not going to watch Jeff Glover because we can't hear him, and that's a bummer. So let's turn to page 38, the benefits of scripts. So page 38, scripts give us the confidence to do our jobs. They're a confidence booster. If you feel like you don't know the language, it'll help you learn the language. Number two, they allow us to stay focused and in the present moment. Number three, they provide consistency in what we say and do. What else would there be a benefit? What other benefits might there be? Anybody?
To help stay on track.
Help stay on track. You know, again, I think it's, especially if you're newer, it's going to be that confidence booster. It's going to be the language. It's going to be, it's going to give you that not purpose, but, you know, a little bit of that shine that I think we're all looking for. You know, and again, and I only, after watching this Molly D. Matos at Bold Pivot, I mean, she was just like amazing. And she did not sound scripted. Because I've certainly, full disclosure, I've heard people like, man, they sound like robots. This woman was just super good. She was so good. Mindset. What are the limiting beliefs around scripts? I think I just said one.
Hi, Donna. Delaney again. I think, you know, in my current work life, there's also a script for the work that I do, and definitely found that people that didn't follow that script had a harder time in their jobs. So I think that being uncomfortable is probably maybe the number one thing that people maybe might feel about it, but knowing that they can adapt their own you know, way to it. I mean, you know, by conveying the same message, but sort of making it, personalizing it to your own personality and what feels more natural to you, because being natural is what you have to be, because people will see right through anything other than that.
Yeah, I agree with you. You do have to make it your own. And that's why the practice is so important, because you need to, you know, you need to internalize it. You know, you need to add yourself, you need to add your own personality. And, you know, if you embrace humor and, you know, you're witty, or, you know, or you're just more like analytical, it needs to work for you. What are 3 negative consequences for failing to learn scripts? Lack of income, lack of success, lack of acknowledgement. You won't have the vacation. My daughter doesn't get to go to the fancy high school she wants to go to. We're not paying off the mortgage. You know, money is tight. I'm arguing with my spouse. You know, it just, money, you know, why do people get divorced? They get divorced for one of 2 reasons. It's either infidelity or money. So, you know, having money problems can be a stressor. And so, you know, you want to have, you know, you want to, if you've made a commitment to doing this, you need to do it. I just, you know, I don't mean to seem preachy, but you need to do it. You know, because of scripts, I sell houses and earn more income. And if anybody here knows Trish Pierce out of the Norwell office, man, she's great at scripts too. She's an amazing professional, she set a goal a couple of years back to buy a Cape home, and she bought it last year, you know, and she did that through her scripts and dialogue practice. Okay. We're learning scripts, page 39. You need to internalize it, as we've mentioned, and I'm not going to go through this, but you need to memorize it. So to those of you who don't know me very well, I used to do theater. I was a theater major. I haven't been cast in anything in a long time, but I used to do community theater. And I learned how to memorize a script with a tape. And I would say the same thing with you. Tape yourself. Memorize the script. Insert some language that the other side is going to say, and then what you're going to say. And then when they're going to, and listen to it. I mean, I would drive aimlessly around the South Shore just listening to myself use a fake British accent. So page 40 is about how to memorize in 6 steps. Read, repeat, read, say, and then say the entire script. It's drudgery, but it's drudgery that will benefit you. And again, if you have family, get them involved. This is, they will enjoy this as you learn how to memorize your script, okay? Instead of having to think about what you say next, it will come automatically. And again, that is going to free you up. It's going to free you up. Any questions, thoughts, concerns about scripts? So flipping to page 41, let's practice some scripts for a little. We're not going to actually get into the practicing of them because, again, time is of the essence. But attached are some scripts. I want you to memorize these scripts. Okay? When we're done, because we're not going to be able to do it together, I want you to make a promise to me that you'll spend 5 minutes memorizing these scripts. Just read them. If you can just memorize the first 2 sentences, I'll consider it a win. Do I have everybody's commitment to do that? Mm-hmm. All right, thank you. Flipping the page. So again, page 43, we'll start with your scripts. New to real estate, new to Keller Williams, rest of script. And there's lots of other scripts. And if you go to script practice with either the fabulous Lisa Axio or the wonderful Dara Jarosh, they will have more scripts for you too. And if you're looking for a particular topic that isn't here, like, I don't know, I want to focus on building my business through divorce attorneys, which is actually a thing, then we'll find you something. We'll find something. So, but these are the scripts that you're going to practice, okay? So let's flip the page to page 46. Personal notes. So again, I'm also, after you said to me that you would make some calls, so 3 calls, please write 3 personal notes to those people that you spoke to and include your business card. Bob and Betty, thanks for talking to me. My God, where is the time gone? The kids look great. Yeah, Bill and I are living life. I've joined Keller Williams. Here's my business card. Okay? 3 personal notes. You don't have to be Ernest Hemingway. You don't have to have Keller Williams note cards. It's not that difficult. Okay? So page 46. Everybody's going to write 3 personal notes, correct? Good. So skill number 4, be accountable. If you have never read The One Thing, it is the one book that I think transcends all other books. It is the one Gary Keller book that I have seen in multiple homes of people who are not real estate professionals. And the question that it comes down to, the concentrating question is, what is the one thing I can do such by that doing that, everything else will be either easier or unnecessary? That is the question to ask yourself each and every day. Be accountable. Be accountable to your monetary goals. Be accountable to your colleagues. Be accountable to your clients. Follow an action plan and work with the market center leadership. You know, if you're new, then you have a mentor or a productivity coach, if you've gotten to that point yet, if you're still working towards that. But your mentors and or productivity coaches want you to succeed as well. And they will help you measure, design, activate, evaluate a plan of action, if you will. So again, bottom page 47, develop a prioritized plan of action. Listen, I'm the queen of to-do lists, you know, and if I don't see it written down, you know, one of my favorite bold laws is, if it's not on my calendar, it doesn't exist. So put everything on the calendar. But conversely, I also have a list of other stuff that needs to be done too. So, but the to-do list is not necessarily focused or planned. It's just a list of stuff to get done. And you need to hit the big rocks, if you will. So I'm going to flip to page 48. Action plan, make a list. Make a list of all the things in your world that require action or resolution. Everything that's incomplete and needs action, whether it's urgent or not. And number 2, prune. Like it's a rose plant that's giving you a bad day. Prune. Is it dollar productive? Or is it something that is part of the 20%, is it part of the 80%? Remember, the 20% is going to give us 80% of the results. The 80%, it's all the crap that needs to get done. And when you get to a point, you can hire an assistant to take care of that 80%. But at this point, you still need to design an MLS beauty sheet. And then prioritize. What's important and what's urgent. Now, I know it sounds weird, but sometimes the urgent stuff isn't important. Sometimes it is. But sometimes the important stuff isn't urgent. What's important? Lead generation. Lead generation is important. So flipping the page to page 49, you know, return a call to a person inquiring about a listing, both urgent and important. Schedule a training class on contracts, urgent and important. Your daily 10-4, urgent and important. Order new business cards. You can do that at 7 o'clock while watching, I don't know, Jeopardy. That's 7:30. You know, put marketing materials together for a meeting. Now that's important, you know, but it's not urgent because the meeting's next week. Update my Facebook, you know, what a time suck that is, but still it needs to get done. Pick up the dry cleaning. Now that might be urgent because you're not going to have that really pretty blouse to wear tomorrow, but it's not important. Lead generate is both important and urgent. So the big rocks are the things that are important and urgent, like lead generation. So if it's both urgent and important, then you do it. Everything else gets filtered down. Okay, urgent and important, do it. Urgent but not important, do it. The rest of it at the bottom just are the little rocks. They're the little tiny irritating rocks that don't necessarily get done. Okay, flipping the page 51, I'm not gonna go through that. 51, live by the calendar. Live by the calendar. You know, I think that if it's not on your calendar, it doesn't exist. Time block. Time block, time block, time block. Because it turns out that if you just let people interfere, if you will, you're not going to get done what it is that needs to get done. So live by the calendar. Successful agents plan their days and stick to the plan. Bottom line, I'm not even time blocking. So if you've never done a time blocking class, you should. Time blocking is scheduling lead generation. At the very least, 9 to 11. If you're not a morning person, do it at the end of the day, but most people do it from 9 to 11, and that's why it's important to put that in. If you erase, you must, anybody?
Replay.
Correct. If
Replace.
you must replace. Time gets in the way, but you must replace. You must do 2 hours of lead generation every single time. Flipping the page, protect your time. Block your calendar. Okay, 55. Block your calendar. No skipping. Allow no interruptions. Shut the door if you're at home. And listen, I know it's really hard now if you've got kids at home. I can't imagine what it's like having kids at home right now. It must be so difficult to get work done when they're in the house as well. I only have my husband to contend with, and he's you know, irritating enough. So build a moat around that time. Shut the door. If you've got kids, and I know some, you know, like Melissa has a little one, Eleni has a little one. If you've got little ones, they can't read the sign on the door that says, you know, lead generating, please do not enter. Do the best you can. Do the best. The only thing is to every day try to do a little bit better than the day before. That's it. That's all you can ask for. So flipping the page, this is the Ignite calendar during Ignite. This is a good example of what to do. Again, Tuesdays and Thursdays is going to be the time to do the mission, the homework. And then Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but again, we're flipping it around a little bit, will be different. So look at this calendar. It doesn't have to, it's not written in stone, but it's a good calendar to contemplate. And again, your daily 10-4, Monday through Saturday. We take a day off, and that's Sunday. Okay, or we take Saturday off and we work Sunday, depending upon, you know, what it is that, or we take Friday off and we work Saturday and Sunday. But take a day off. 6 days of lead generation, 1 day off. And by the way, circling back to time blocking, when you're doing time blocking for the year, what's the first thing that you should time block?
Vacation.
Thank you, Steve. Yes.
You're welcome.
You need to refresh and replenish. I have known agents who, you know, got into the business and did really successfully right off the bat, and they burned themselves out and had gone off to become, you know, like a golf pro after that, because while they were making a lot of money, they were burnt out and they were working 100 hours a week. And vice versa. I have lots of agents I know who have gotten into the business, done very little, but are really enjoying life. It is a balance, and that balance needs to include vacation. Okay, so take a vacation. Flipping the page, we're going to go page, live by your calendar. Accountability. So again, if you have coaching and mentoring in your world, those are your accountability partners. Your success partners, you know, somebody else in the office. You have a relationship or a friendship with another agent. A mortgage lender. I know lots of really great mortgage lenders love being a success partner with us because we also hold them to accountability. Or your personal accountability. I mentioned to you that for me, it was my daughter. You know, I never wanted to, you know, to have a child say to you, especially when they're 13 and 14, which is just the most awesome age, Mom, I'm so disappointed in you. It was awful. So I would, you know, it's pleasure versus pain, right? I would do whatever I needed to do to avoid the pain. And that pain was telling my daughter, I didn't do what I had done. Now, vice versa, I was her accountability partner for her schoolwork and her athletic endeavors. So we were holding each other accountable. But find somebody, okay? 58, 59. Please fill all this in. Moving to page 60. Okay, agreement of expectations. This is important. I am going to ask that you review this and you fill this out. Congratulations on embarking on your Ignite journey. And read through it, initial to everything that you're going to agree to. Listen, if there's something there that you're not going to do not agree to it. Be honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself and sign it. On the other side, page, I love this one. On the other side is the family significant other agreement. Here's the truth. You need your family to support you in this endeavor. You're going to work nights, you're going to work weekends. They need to support you. It's just the way it is. And if they're not, you need to have a conversation with them about the fact that you need them, that you really want this. This is really important to you. And you need them to support you in this endeavor. You know, if they still say no, you need to have another conversation with them. But this is a great moment to include them. So, you know, if you are in a traditional family and are the one putting dinner on the table, you know, you need to have a conversation that sometimes dinner is going to be cereal on a Monday night. And Steve's laughing because we eat cereal every Monday night because there was a lot of meals left behind when there was no food provided to the Frano children. And they were fine. They're you know, capable adults today, but the fact that I was out building my own business and being the woman that I wanted to be is something that I wanted my kids to appreciate. So cereal is a suitable dinner. The end. And their father could make a meal too, for God's sakes. Okay. So that's important. And page 65 is putting it all together. All together. I want you to put everything together. You're going to polish your big why. You're going to complete your 10-4. You're going to start tracking your activities. You're going to create your time block calendar. You're going to schedule regular accountability time. You're going to do scripts and practice, power statements, prepare for the next class, download the pre-work mission, discuss with your family all the obligations and love that you need from them. Oh my God. Okay. I'm exhausted. Who has ahas? Our time is coming to a conclusion. What are your ahas other than the fact that I couldn't quite get the sound to work for Jeff Glover. Sorry. What are your ahas? What did you think? It's 12:33. We have spent 3 hours together.
I need to lead generate.
I need to lead generate. Well said, Teresa. Well said. Yeah, you need to lead generate. What else?
Follow a schedule.
Follow a schedule.
Time block.
Time block. You know, I think for the lead generation piece for me, I needed to have who I was going to talk to the day before done the night before so that I would wake up and just do it. At heart, I'm lazy, deeply lazy. And if I didn't have that in front of me, I could spend hours making excuses as to why I didn't have anybody to call. I also, by the way, love door knocking, But again, that's probably a thing of the past, other than the one door I'm going to knock on today. That is probably a thing of the past. And of course, one other really great lead generation channel or track is open houses. Those open houses, yeah, Business Network, BNI, vendors, but open houses will be coming back. I saw a couple of them were being done in a traditional way over the weekend, at least down in Hanover. They will be coming back in some fashion, So that'll help you as well. And reach out to other members and the Market Center who have a lot of listings, because they're normally looking for people to cover their open houses for them, because they can't be in two places at the same time. Any more ahas? Anything else before we conclude our first Ignite session? So exciting. So happy to spend time with you.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
Okay. Two things. I mean, is there a specific class for new agent, as far as like, something pretty straightforward that will tell you, talk about the prospect, the listing, or the selling, and the following paperwork? That would make us, at least myself,
so
comfortable with the process.
Yeah, the paperwork classes, Vronsky, are handled through that first 100 days. So I handle those classes, listing paperwork, buyer paperwork, agency, open houses. Have you done those yet? You've done some of those.
I've done a few of them. I've done new agent orientations, and then command setup, lead painting, and but I'm just talking about like traditional, like all in one. I mean, I know it's so over. I mean, I think I'm quite overwhelmed with the classes and all that stuff. But I feel like what's missing is, for me to, the nuts and bolts, exactly, for me to look at a property or talk to a friend that wants to sell a house, the paperwork for you to, okay, let's get an agreement. Now, what's the next paperwork once we get an agreement? Do we just put a for sale sign? And what else?
You know what, Vronsky, I think you and I should maybe schedule a meeting together. Sure. And I can walk, I'm always available. And so I can always, and I'm happy to do that, walk it through the life of a transaction, essentially. Oh, that sounds like a good class, actually.
It does.
That does sound like a good class. Vronsky, I think we're going to have a class called The Life of a Transaction.
I would benefit from that as well.
Okay. So, I'm writing it down. This week is taken, but look for the life of a transaction. Okay. You got it.
Wonderful.
In general, if there are issues, reach out to me. If you've got a mentor already or a productivity coach, reach out to them. The paperwork we handle, as you know, through those classes, but the congealing of it, which I think is really what we're talking about, hopefully this will help. What, now you said two questions, Vronsky. Was there another?
Yes, the next one is, at what point do we get a mentor sign up?
Sure. So remember, you need to finish those 100 days and or get business going. So, but it's the 6 classes essentially that you need to finish: lead paint, agency disclosure, buyer paperwork, seller paperwork, open houses, and rentals. So if you finish those 6 classes and you've done a team meeting and you've done a script practice, and I forget what else it is, or if you get business going, the minute you get some business going in your pipeline, we need to fast track you to a productivity coach.
Okay.
Okay. Hope that helps. Anybody else? Questions, thoughts, concerns? Okay. Well, thank you, everybody. I am not sure who the Ignite faculty is on Wednesday, but I know that you will all really enjoy it and that you will give that person your full attention. If you have any issues or thoughts or concerns between now and then, reach out to me, and I will see if I can't figure out the Jeff Glover thing. So you can see that in, you know, since I owe you 2.5 minutes of Jeff Glover, essentially. Oh, I see somebody's flashing. Hold on, please. Somebody got a question. Hold on. Can I, oh, yes, you can, Teresa Sullivan. Yes, you can. Okay, that's going to conclude our time together.
Thanks, Donna.
You're welcome.
Thank you.